It's February 22nd, 2022. Alright, now it's Black History Month. And I'm watching this. It says mall fight controversy. It's two teenagers getting a fight. They're non-familial members, meaning they're not related to one another. They come from two different ancestries or whatever. I don't know the video just shows the punching, the fighting, and then the cops throwing the one kid to the floor. Now, then it shows an interview of the mother and son. And now the son of one of the boys comes on and is saying how now the son is reading the situation to the camera, which is being teleported. My problem is that where my feet are and the situations that I was born into and the surrounding anchors of founding fathers and origin during a very tumultuous history in the making, just locally. I don't know what's happening worldwide because I can't see it, can't hear it, and don't know it. And have been trapped underneath what's going on in my area. Now, the two police officers wrestle this one person to the ground. They're the authority in that situation. They know what happened. I only see what happened on the brief camera thing. What happens is normally the police go about their day, whatever. Now what happens is the mom and son come on a camera, and now they say that there was some form of foul play and want the police officers arrested or unemployable or whatever. Now, the problem is that this has become a really grotesque trend that I see on the news. In just my area in New York, they put on the news the other day that out of New Jersey, just to the south of me, they had some double-digit in the thousands refugees of Afghans that are just being released off the base. I have no idea where they'll end up. So they just got here. They have some kind of naturalization that they went through. And now on the device up here, it makes it sound as though targeting the police after a situation happens, as if it's an acceptable whatever, and almost like an underhanded promotion, which is difficult because I couldn't imagine having to put on a uniform every day, told what to do, what to look out for, what to do, and to go out into the neighborhood, do the job, which this is from what I've seen. If it was a fist fight, it ended properly. But to put it on in this manner, it makes the entire country divided. And it makes the judges that sit on the bench uncomfortable. It makes the police officers, when they go out on the job, uncomfortable because they don't know if one of these whatever parents decide to get on the, I used to say on the horn, but it's not, it's on the teleportation or on camera, and put it up on the nightly news with the state somehow letting it happen. Now all of a sudden, the police officer could face jail for years according to this new disgusting system. So now you have a breakdown in law enforcement. And you have all of these newcomers. It's almost like as if that's what the newcomers are hoping for, is to break down this system that we had working at one point before these extra stressors came in and sat upon it and then started to grab the microphone and the megaphone and make working and keeping neat and tidy and on top of law and order really a dangerous I mean, it was a dangerous profession to begin with, but now it is out of control. I mean, and then they threaten, the humans are threatening people like myself and people, well, I haven't been, thank God, to my face, but again, but there's no need to, because the thing is like, that's where the Frederick Douglass is in the situation of somehow there's some operation that went horrifically bad, and now there's pressure from the outside and pressure from the inside, and the numbers are all in like on a inverse, and they're growing scarily when I look at the television and the portal view, PORTAL, like a porthole view of like, I'm just looking telescopically through the windows to the world from my human seat, and I am frightened. I mean, like, it's just, but then I'm frightened of the police force that I need not wanting to sign up or get involved because they're afraid that if they have to go stand in front of a judge, the judge is going to somehow believe this new message of and start ruling in the wrong favor. I mean, it's nothing but mixed messages, it feels like. That's where instability is, and that's what's really frightening. And plus, you have this influx of new people. I mean, they just got here. They were told one thing. That needs to be reinforced. This is reinforcing that the freedom of speech and is more important of the person involved in this whatever than the other part of the law enforcement involved in this. I mean, again, it is this like really dangerous slide, but it's becoming more of a trend. And I mean, I've got more dangerous things with health whatever that's being affected, but because of other areas with whatever this is. And I mean, it's like an uncontrollable slide. I don't know how to protect myself and say something. I mean, they say in the local areas, see something, say something. So now I'm saying something because I don't know how to actively participate as one person. And it appears on the nightly news that if you do participate in this Lincoln's dilemma, you're then frightened by something called a Frederick Douglass. I mean, why is the Frederick Douglass, like, regime not being cut back or tamed or told to hold off until the Lincoln's dilemma can work with whatever it needs to do at larger, long-scale planning for building infrastructure. That's what gets really confusing. Like if you make these like mini operational, not enclaves, conclaves, I'm not quite sure. But like smaller labels just to put inside of an envelope of like, if that's what this is, if that, to construct and deconstruct without getting railroaded. So anyway, this is what the news shows it as.
18-year-old black teen at the center of a controversial police arrest spoke out on GMA3 today. Cell phone video shows officers tackling 14-year-old Kai.
So that's the actual fight. That's all I saw without listening to the newsman.
Hussein inside the Bridgewater Commons Mall on February 14th after...
Now, this has economic complications. There's people who rent these stores. There's businesses involved. There's the owner of the property, that if this kind of behavior is allowed or acceptable to like take hold, then so it is a multi-layered and multi-tiered complicated position just in this one example. But then to have this fear of a Frederick Douglass movement of some sort, wanting to take out all of the participating police officers, they're doing their job the way that they called it in the moment, no less. Without having to go on some televised process in order to try to make the situation look like something more than it really is.
He got into a fight with another young man. Hussein was handcuffed, and the officers put their knees on his back and neck, while a lighter complexion teen is left untouched, many suspecting the black teen was profiled.
Weird thinking about...
Okay, see, that's the guy who's the news person. That's him implanting the seed of doubt into the couch potato interpretation. So now he just laid out a psychological filter that he wants you to now receive this kid's message that was involved in a fist fight with a law enforcement officer that did his job, and the newscaster now wants you to listen through a filter that makes the law enforcement officer wrong and makes this person correct. What the hell happened to the world? Seriously. This, in my grandfather's day, would have never happened. You would have never even heard of this kid. There was no television supporting this kind of movement, making it more dangerous for law enforcement to do their already dangerous job by introducing these seeds of doubt and this new psychological filter to view everything through. It's really, really dangerous. And I don't like being told. I like assessing a situation for the facts involved. I don't like having this filter from this newscaster put before watching all of these things. It's been going on. I have whatever I'm doing on feedback on YouTube because I need to protect myself because I have biological attacks through cyber whatever going on, which I know partially this and this breakdown of communication and this repainting messages almost in a repatronizing way. But I don't know who the patriarch is, and I don't know who the patriots are anymore. Patriarch, patriot, big difference. Patriach and patriot. And then there's a patron somewhere, patron, for compadre, compadre, on my memo. brothers that I can't seem to reach by physical touch or by a number that I can verify. And compadre and comrade for me are like a whatever in whatever. I have a separate issue, more like astrological, cosmological, like planetary, but this is part of a sample of what my the area that's been invaded and affected in multiple different ways of energy grid invasion and internet intrusion. This is what the state of the art work that I live in and move in as like a moving marble statue with this new teleport machine with television that's trying to repaint the inside of my private home with some dangerous new scenario. But I know when I go out in the street, there are participants that match this view, and I hear the filter that the newscaster wants coming out of my parents' mouth, which is really scary. It's like they've totally lost their objectivity to be impartial. They just bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now they're regurgitating it like it's like law, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. It's really scary.
like how I was treated differently based on the color of my skin, and how they were so aggressive with a 14-year-old, and the high schooler was untouched.
Just, the whole thing was unnecessary. And then say for some reason the other boy was, more violent.
But he wasn't.
Say he had a gun or something on him.
But he didn't.
That could have turned out so differently. They weren't.
It could have. But now you're portraying something even worse. We're not staying in the facts of what is. And there are jobs on the line. You're now forecasting or shadow casting or planting seeds in other people's perception, trying to get away. I mean, like this by itself on the newscast, what this seed does is it riles up these seeds. Hold on. That Lincoln dilemma riles up the Frederick Douglass scenario, which is, hold on, I gotta get through COVID.
February of 2020.
We got a victory today. What we got today, we would have gotten today if it wasn't for the fight that the family put up.
No one.
I heard the U.S. Attorney. I agree that no one, either way, should be frightened to walk out on the street. I completely agree with that one statement that the U.S. Attorney with the Department of Justice in Washington put out. Where I have a problem is when the news media has been fostering this message and planting these seeds for quite some time. I don't know if it's been 70 years or 7 decades, whether you want to go with a time frame of 4 decades since I've been here, but for certain between my mother's 7 decades and my 4 decades, it has become a lot harder and less healthy and less opportunity for one to just participate naturally amongst humanity. So that becomes difficult. And I feel like it's almost like this fuel as well. But you constantly have this influx of new participants, and they're looking for words of wisdom. They're looking for who the leaders are. They're looking for signs of strength. And they're assessing every situation. So that's why, the television is such a powerful tool because it gives visualization to these words and to these movements. And then there was one more piece to that, which, again, this is the part that's really difficult with cyber attacks and with biological attacks, is it's like a light switch going on and off, whether you can remember or not. But I know it's situational, and I know it's part of whatever's going on at the moment here in residential area. I'm going to pause this for 1 second. Oh, that was the other piece. And then the other piece is they show slashings in the subway in New York, which is another frightening piece of truth of what's going on. I heard that Mayor Eric Adams was putting into effect a safety plan. They did touch on that earlier on the news broadcast, and they praised him for how quickly he was able to enact that. I'm looking for, this is the
Police
gentleman.
About long COVID and how you
It must have been on the other broadcast, but it was an Asian American. He took his mask off and he was cut from here to here. It is this. And then the other night I showed one man pushing a woman. It is frightening when these seeds have been planted and allowed to grow for so long. In thought and the way things are treated, plus pattern of migration and large social, like demography, like changeovers and so on and so forth, and just losing even your orientation inside the system because you don't have that connection with migration patterns. If everybody just decides to pick up and move out of New York, how would I even know? I see in Ukraine they offer a 505 bus. Now is that, I don't know where you even call up for a 505 IET process. But over here, they don't offer anything as nice as that. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.